name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, Therapist in the Wild. And this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Last Christmas, and we are sipping on cream de cacao, Kahlua, and oat milk. How y'all doing? So, I rewatched this movie, and I was just like, this movie is giving you blow by blow of how miracles are supposed to happen and what it looks like. The being patient, the not understanding why these extravagant life changes that are, scary and overwhelming, and, recognizing like the people that are supposed to be in your life and the people that are not supposed to be in your life. It is amazing. Honestly, it's so beautiful. But anyway, so let's start off at the beginning. So we got Georgia Bird. This played by Queen Latifah, right? She's a shy woman that works at this like retail mall, like a Macy's and shit. And like she loves to cook. She has like big dreams and goals, and she just doesn't know the first step to take to get her there. And like, she'll do things in the mall, like have to display the items in the kitchen section. She'll cook little meals on Wednesday morning for the customers and things like that. She's just a sweet, nice lady. She goes to church. She believes in God, and things like that. And she got this crush on one of the store people, one of the retail people, and it's LL Cool J when he was younger. And a younger LL Cool J is just magnificent. Yes, it was a magnificent experience. It was to see. Every time he licked his lips, I was just yes, God. And I just feel like the LL Cool J now is old. I'm not attracted to that. I'm not but I just feel like literally like you're not supposed to be attractive to people that are older than you or younger than you. I really do. And I feel like it's normal for me to just kind of age out of being attracted to these niggas as they age, because you look old. You look old to me. And then young niggas look really young. Like niggas in their 20s look like 12-year-olds and shit. And I just be like, you'll be talking about dumb shit, and then you want me to do energetic shit that I don't feel like doing. I'm not about to bungee jump, and I'm not about to go to the club, and I'm not about to drink alcohol like this. Like, are you sure you're not an alcoholic? And, and I just feel like, it's perfectly normal not to be attracted to that almost 60-year-old man. But a young nigga, LL Cool J, when was around my age now and shit, nigga, that was a beautiful man. I was just like, look at his lips, look how they and them dimples and the bald head, and it just and the body. So he lift this bitch up on and put her on his shoulders, nigga. Like, I was just like, you was a big ass nigga. She is my height and maybe weigh a little bit more than me, and I'm just like, there's niggas out there that can lift bitches like me up, and they probably got to be that big though. So and in real life, niggas that are that big don't like big bitches like me. Shut up, I went off. Anyway, she has a crush on him. He has a crush on her too. It's so cute. They're just so shy, and I'm just like, these two fine niggas are not this shy. No, I don't care. I mean, it was believable. The acting was believable, but it was still, I was just looking at them like, these two fine niggas are not this shy. I had to put my vision of LL Cool J in real life and his music videos and interviews. I had to put that away, and Queen Latifah being the bad bitch she is, I had to put those visions away and just, take in the present and the character that they were trying to display. But anyway, so she has a crush on him. He has a crush on her. They're too shy to tell each other. So it's just like this whole thing. And then she has this possibilities book, and it's just kind of like a vision board. Like, I have a similar thing in my notes app where I just, like, anytime I see like interesting meme quotes that apply to my life or wishes that I have for myself, and maybe a few niggas that I would wish my future husband would look like. And it's just something that you do as a vision, like a manifestation or whatever. And but the thing is, she ain't made no move on these possibilities. She just dreams them, and even her cooking, like she won't even eat her own cooking, y'all, because I don't know why. Like she on this Weight Watcher, she don't like herself, y'all. She don't like herself, and I feel like so this movie's very Christian-y and stuff like that. And there's this like, trauma in the church because these people, pastors and deacons and church people take power and then they do fucked up abusive shit, right? And then there's this thing in the Bible about you have to struggle and stuff at some point in your life in order to like get to the other side. And I don't think the Bible is saying you have to struggle. I think it's one of three things. One, you're gonna keep fucking up till eventually it's gonna implode and the bad thing is gonna happen at the end of it. And you didn't learn from the other times you kept fucking up and kept doing shit. So when it implodes on you, hopefully that big enough consequence teaches you because you didn't stop. Like when I was banging my head against brick walls of trash ass niggas until eventually I ended up in a 7-year long emotionally abuse. That made me stop and reassess and be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need this. But if I had stopped before, like I was telling a client the other day, the first night that I ever talked to my ex on the phone, I had this intense migraine while talking on the phone with him, and it was the worst migraine I had ever had, and it lasted like at least a day and a half to 2 days after that, right? And I truly feel like that was my body, that was God telling me that you do not need to proceed, you do not need to go forward. But I went forward and lost 7 years. And so now I listen to my body and my instincts when shit happens because I could have avoided that situation and I didn't. And so I think that's one way that it can happen, where you have to struggle to get to the mountaintop because you ain't listening and shit. Every time you make a mistake and get a consequence, the consequence ain't consequence enough for you to stop. And then I feel like there are situations where it's time for you to end or leave and you just stand in it. So the situation is getting worse and worse. Like when I had to leave my job, I was thinking about it too. That shit happened when I was 33 years old in 2020. And I quit my job. And I always be talking about the 33rd year is a magical year because that's the age Jesus was when he died and shit. And it's an angel number and shit. And I had to really think, and I thought back to it and I was like, I quit my job and opened my private practice full time when I was 33 because my boss was going crazy and being weird and the pandemic, and I was going to stay. I was going to stay because I had health insurance that was paid for and it was extra money and shit, and it was flexible so I could still go have my private practice and stuff, and I didn't mind the work. And so, but she was, God bless. So it got worse and worse until it forced me out of the situation. I think that's what this situation is with Georgia. Something had to happen that was big enough to make her move because she wasn't going to move. And she was made for bigger and better things, and she wasn't going to move. She was not going to make the choice to move, y'all. If she was, it would have been done happen. She got a whole book of shit. She got dreams. She know these chefs that are across the world. She ain't never been further than Mississippi. And so she wasn't going to move. So something had to happen to make her scared enough to move and motivate her enough to move. And then she said, fuck it, and I'm going to go and do what I want. Exact bitch. And then there's just the shit that just happened that's coincidence. People getting sick, people getting dying and illnesses and stuff. Some shit is just coincidence, And so I don't think the Bible is saying like you have to suffer to learn. I think that it's saying some people will have to suffer to learn because they not going to stop doing the shit that they doing that's making them suffer. They're not going to get out of the environments that they need to get out of to stop them from suffering. So something big enough and painful enough has to happen in that environment because human beings are hard-headed. And when we're comfortable with struggle, we will stay in that struggle for damn near forever and shit. And I know old people that are in abusive, toxic ass relationships that are still in that shit because they were too comfortable with it. And so, yeah, I think that's what's happening in here is that the environment was toxic and she wasn't going to move. And so something needed to happen to make her move. And that's what I think this movie's about. And listening to your body, listening to your mind, so that it doesn't have to get to that point where something has to happen to make you move. Because if she had never bumped her head, she probably would have been at that store for the rest of her fucking life. And that would have been the devil. But anyway, she got this boss that's racist and all this other stuff. And then she got the book of damn it, premonitions, promise, possibilities. And she got the hotel she want to go to, the chef that she want to eat they food, and the famous chef on television that she likes. She won't even eat her own food. She don't like herself. And so she's at work one day, and like she trying to mac up with LL Cool J, right? Girl. And like she's finally getting to the point where she gonna try to ask him out, or he gonna ask her out, or something's gonna happen. They gonna do it at the same time. They're awkward. And then like while he's talking to her, because he's about to ask her out, and he's about to ask her out, and like she drops the stuff on the floor, and when she's getting up to pick it up, she bangs the top of her head on an open cabinet door, right? And so like she passes out, and this nigga just holds her over his shoulder, and I was just like, I want the princess hold. I want I want that hold. Like I don't want to be thrown over no nigga's shoulder, my ass all up in the air and shit. What? I was just like, even though he could lift her up, like he had to lift her up in some awkward ass fucking way. I want to be, how big a nigga gotta be to lift me up? I'm 200 pounds. Horrible. And so she goes to the clinic that's in the store. I guess they have a medical clinic there with an MR or CAT scan machine. Get scanned on this machine. Before that, though, she had this while she was coming to, she had this little fantasy. Almost got that nigga to take his shirt off in this movie. Oh, God. Maybe there's a deleted scene. Like, see, that's why they should just add the deleted scenes to the streaming platforms for the movie so we can still see the deleted scenes that would be on the DVD. There may be a deleted scene of this nigga taking his shirt off, but it's fine. It's okay. And he was licking she was licking her, and he kissed the camera, and I was just like, girl. It was magical. It was a magical experience, and I loved it. But anyway, so she like wakes up, and they do the CAT scan, and then the doctor, there's like these dots on her brain, and he says it's Lampington, so she got all these tumors on her brain, and she only got 3 weeks to live. She gets a second opinion. That doctor says she got 3 weeks to live. So then she goes to the evil health insurance member services, and this bitch looked her dead in the face and was like, well, we can't cover this surgery. Like, the bitch is literally about to die in 3 weeks, and see, you keep pushing the people to the edge. The people are going to be tired is all I'm going to say about that. And I don't disagree with things that have recently happened where the people got tired, because you keep killing motherfuckers and then get mad when niggas get tired and want revenge against that. And you keep fucking with people, millions of people, and their health and shit like that. And you don't know these millions of people and their intentions. And so, shit happens is all I'm saying. I'm not gonna do the shit because I would immediately get shot 52 times in the chest as being a black woman, and I just want to relax and be at peace. But there are people out there that will do things and has already done things and may continue to do things, and that's none of my business, because I did not influence them to do anything, and I'm not a part of them doing anything. But I'm just saying that's why people do things. Looked this woman dead in the face and told her that motherfucking surgery was $300,000 without anesthesia, and she can't afford that. You can't even put her on a payment plan, but who wants to be on a payment plan like that? I'm glad she didn't get the surgery, because she didn't have that shit. And she was nice. She didn't sue that doctor for malpractice, girl. I mean, all her dreams came true, so it was fine. But in real life, girl, I would at least sue the store. You don't give me my money, bitch. Anyway, so she's just breaking down, crying. She don't know what to do. She's just overwhelmed and stuff like that. And so she like goes to church and she's singing to God and asking God why, and in revival, and this choir is singing, and everybody is with her. They don't know she got this shit, but like, cause she don't want to tell nobody. She calls her sister. Her sister. That's why you gotta listen to people, cause if people calling you want to talk to you, they want to talk to you for a reason, and like you can't just start rambling on some random ass tangent. You don't know what people are going through. Like take a second. Like, what do you call? What's going on? Like, you could take a second. Like, she felt like alone and like she didn't have nobody, but at the same time she purposely isolated herself and didn't tell nobody because she didn't realize how many people genuinely gave a fuck about her. Because she didn't like herself, and when you don't like yourself, you just kind of focus on trying to appease and people please and get validation from other people, and you think that's going to make you feel better, and it's not. It really isn't. And so she goes to her job. She tries to tell her boss he's racist and an asshole. And he's just like not listening to her. She smashes his phone because he wouldn't silence it so she could talk. And then he puts on the CEO's fucking tape. And this is so relevant to the today and times and what's happening now. He puts on the CEO of the company's tape, and he's talking about like, oh, you got to be an asshole or some shit in order to get by. And I'm just like, I know, honey. That's why what happened to you at the end happened to you. And so she says, fuck this. She doesn't tell him that she's dying, but she just quits. She just is like, no, fuck this. I'm quitting. Nah, da, da, da. And then she storms out. And then he's talking about, oh, well, you were the best employee and your section is making the most money in the store. And I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to ask for a raise and all this other shit. And I'm just like, so you're going to treat her bad until she wants to leave and then scorch the earth and never return. Okay, that makes more sense, bitch. Like, you think that you're just gonna keep abusing motherfuckers and they're gonna stay forever. Like, I don't know. It happens with some people, but with other people, a good portion of people, it doesn't. Either they're gonna leave or they're gonna kill you, or, both. And so, that's why you should stop fucking with people. Be honest and see where she at. Maybe she could have negotiated because she's really a nice person, so she might have negotiated for some shit that was less than her worth, which I don't agree with, but that's where she was at mentally, so I can't even, we got to go with the pattern of where she was at, not what I would want to see her do. And so she like quits, and then she goes into her possibilities book, and she said, I'm gonna do all my motherfucking possibilities. She takes all her money, all her savings out the bank. I'm thinking it's around 50 grand, because she goes to a hotel that's $4,000 a night. She takes a helicopter. The plane ticket over there is $1,500. This is in 2006, so on Christmas Day too, $1,500 for a round trip ticket to the Czech Republic on Christmas Day. Girl, that's not on Christmas Day, y'all. That shit would have been $3,000 or $4,000 round trip. Shut the fuck up. And so she gets a ticket, and then she gets on the plane, and then this nigga want to like lean into her like she's 5'10". Like, I hate being on planes. I can't afford business class or first class, and the only reason I want to be able to afford it, not because of the amenities, just because I can put my feet up, because I have to wear the compression socks, because the first time I traveled, my feet swelled up like balloons and didn't go down for almost a week and shit, and I didn't know what that shit was, and I looked it up, and they said, oh, because your feet's not moving, the blood is pooling in your feet, and you could have a heart attack or a stroke or some shit. So now I wear compression socks on the plane when I fly internationally. And so being tall, and it's just like, and then having like back problems and joint problems and hip problems like I do, like, this shit is the devil. Most of the time I'm sedated when I'm on a plane. I won't, you don't even know what I'm sedated with, but I'm like knocked out most of the time that I'm on an international flight, unless they bring the food around. But it's not comfortable. It feels like I'm scrunched up into a pretzel for like 13 hours and shit. And I just want to lay down. Like, if I got to lay down in business class on a bed, bitch, don't wake me up. Don't bother me. I'm just going to sleep through that whole fucking flight, and only wake me up when they bring the food. That's it. Just wake me up when they bring food, and then I'm gonna go right back to sleep. It's a magical, it looks so. When I pass first class and business class on international flights, and I see all these lucky rich people that can afford $10,000 tickets and shit, I just be like, y'all are so amazing. Like, you're so lucky to just privileged, and I want to put my feet up and. But anyway, she's on the plane, and like this big dude is in front of her, like, and she got her knees up, and he trying to like back into her knee, and she like, this is uncomfortable. And then this thing don't call the stewardess over. This is racism without them saying it's racism. He don't call the stewardess over and whisper in her ear talking about this person behind me is causing problems, and the stewardess gonna be on his fucking side talking about, ma'am, can you move your knees out of the? And I'm just like, how you know she's just not tall, and that's all the room that she can give for her knees? Like, how do you know? Like, maybe it's not possible for her to move her knees to have this man sit laying in her fucking lap the whole, like, how you know that it's not possible for her to do that? So she looks at this lady, and then this other stewardess comes over, this dude, and he got an attitude talking about, oh, well, if you wanted room and shit, and she's literally just like being herself and upset, and everybody clapping for her every time she says some shit, and I'm just like, magical. So she gets to check, and then she decides to take a helicopter. I'm thinking a helicopter about like $2,000 or some shit, but she coming in style to the hotel, right? And so everybody's looking at the helicopter, looking at her. They just look, and she don't even know these people are like on her like that. She's just so focused on herself, and that made me realize that's how I want this energy, like, to move through the world so in love with yourself that like you don't have to go towards anyone or try to create anything with anyone else. They just come to you. You're just so focused on loving yourself and pouring into, like, she going to the hotel, she wanted a better room, so or her room wasn't ready yet, it was going to take 2 hours, and so they only had the presidential suite, which was $4,000 a night. And she was like, let me get the presidential suite then. I'm just like, it must be $50,000. It gotta be at least $50,000. It ain't no $20,000. You ain't sitting up here $4,000 a night with no $20,000, and you done bought the plane ticket and these clothes and the helicopter and all this other shit. No, it's $50,000. And so she just like moving through life, doing things based off of how she feels and what she wants. And people think that that's so amazing because they can't do that. Like, I had to realize that like people would treat me like that because I'm just be hyper focused on myself. And so sometimes people just be looking at me with amazement or treating me with amazement. And I just be like, what's going on? It's so hard for people to not move through the world based off of what other people think about them. And I used to be like that, and I learned how to not be like that over time. Like, I just don't give a shit what people think about me as long as I'm not being derogatory or like invading anybody's space or being abusive or hurtful or overly obnoxious, because I'm still obnoxious, but it's like I used to be bad. It was embarrassing. But overly obnoxious and loud and weird and shit, then I'm cool. Like, I'm good. Like, most of the time I'm pretty chill. Like, I like to just sit and hang out and read a book and be unbothered. And like, people really just so you're gonna have the toxic people that just can't understand why you seem so at peace, and they need to figure it out, and they need to test you and bother you. But as long as you like, so she gets to the hotel, and like, it's four people. Four. It's the Kragen. He's the dude, the CEO of the stores, and it is the senator of Louisiana, some other white dude, like, I forgot who he is, maybe he's a congressman too, and then it's the Kragen's mistress, right? The other three, the senator, the random white dude, and the mistress, they think it's amazing that she got the presidential suite, and they don't know who she is, and they want to know. And Kragen is just so mad that all this attention is on her. He hates it, and I think that's what it is. Manipulative people hate that the spotlight is not on them, because when the spotlight is not on them, they get all of their validation from the outside world. They can't validate themselves. And so when they're not getting that validation in an environment, they go fucking buck wild crazy because it feels like abandonment. So the abandonment that we feel when like niggas cheat on us or we have a friendship breakup and shit, manipulative, narcissistic people feel that when they're not getting even an incy bit of attention from the people around them that they want attention from, or even people that they don't want attention from, like they just want the attention all the time, and it's weird. And get help for that. And so she's moving through this just like she don't give a fuck. She's like, she just wants to have a good time before she dies. And so like she sees Cragen over there with his folks, and she overhears them talking. She sees him with his mistress, and she's just like, ew. And then she sees the senator, and she low-key mad at the senator because was the senator? I think he was mentioned, and she low-key mad at the senator because he's the senator of Louisiana, and he was supposed to come to her church, and he didn't come to her church, and the church prayed and everything was like, because he told them he had some pressing business in Washington, and so the pastor prayed for him and prayed for his business in Washington and shit. This nigga was over here in Czech Republic skiing at a resort with some white people. I know the fuck she was upset. I would be upset. You trifling mother. And so she goes up to her room with all them niggas staring at her, and she just like la la land in her head, just doing her own thing. And I'm just like, yes, God will just get in the room. And once you in the room, love on yourself the same way that you loved on yourself when you was outside of the room. Don't worry about the people in the room. Just keep doing you. Keep just enjoying. Like when I walk in a room, like I'm not necessarily making eye contact, trying to see who's there and all this other stuff. I'm looking at the architecture. I'm like, this is the lights. It may be some neurodivergent shit. I don't know. I'm looking at like everything else around me that I would consider art. And then like if someone walks up and talks to me, that's great. But if they don't, I don't feel like it. Like, and it's not because I think I'm better than anybody, because that's what manipulative people like to think too. It has to mean that she thinks she's better than us. No, bitch, I just am not thinking about you. Like, I'm just happy to be outside the house. Like literally when I go out into places, especially when I'm out in places where there's other people and shit, I'm just happy to be outside. Because there was a lot of years where I would just cocoon in the house in my sadness cave and would not leave the house unless I had to go to work. And so I'm just happy to be outside and be around the energy of other people and just enjoying the space. Like I don't really need much. Like once I pay these credit cards off, like I don't really need much. Like I am enjoying the space. Like if you want to talk to me, that's great. Let's talk about some shit. But like, I'm not going to seem as enthusiastic to engage with people. Like I'm not going to initiate most of the time. Like I'll be nice and cordial, and if I've seen you before in the space, I'll say hi and all that. But like I don't even think to be like, oh, how was your week? And I have to force myself to think that to ask those questions, because I don't even be thinking about that. Like literally, I'm trying to watch this video on my phone. I'm trying to read this book. Like and that's probably the neurodivergent shit. Like most people want to socialize when they're in social settings. I'm just happy to be outside the house in a space. And if there's snacks, that's amazing. And if there's activities to do, that's wonderful. If there's pretty things to look at, that's great. And if motherfuckers want to talk to me, okay, as long as, like, no, because people will approach you and you never really know their intentions. Like this whole movie, like the people that would approach her, like the dude's mistress, like the senator and all this other stuff, they all like still wanted things from her. It was kind of like they wanted emotional support. The senator wanted to fuck her and shit. Like it was just kind of like, and she let the senator down nice and stuff like that. So let me get back to when she got to the hotel. She gets to the hotel, she gets in the room, she's still emotional, but she goes out and she buys herself some outfits, and she was trying on some of the ugliest early 2000 clothes I ever did see, but she found her some cute dresses to wear, and that made sense, and it was like amazing. We weren't dressing right in the early 2000s, and niggas want to bring that shit back. Like they brought back cargo pants. I like these are comfortable, but other things, like there are certain things that you don't need to be bringing everything back from that era. Like, and so like she and then she goes to dinner in this red dress, and she just shines. She walks into the dining room. She ain't looking at nobody but the maitre d', Everybody's looking at her though, and she sits down at her own little table and she orders all the food on the menu because she wants to try everything from this chef because she likes him. And the CEO and the senator, they got their own little private space, and they got all these requirements for their food. They don't want potatoes, they don't want dairy, they don't want this. And I could see, like, if you have like an allergy or some shit, like, you ain't gonna want to eat peanuts and shit and stuff like that. But like, is everybody at the table got a preference? Like, this nigga got to take out most of the ingredients of the food that he's making just to just to apply to their preference. That's a lot. And so she just wants everything just like the chef makes it. She don't want him to take nothing out. And the chef is just so enthralled by the fact that somebody wants his food and doesn't want to take anything out. And she's just sitting there enjoying herself. And everybody at that table in that private room is looking at her, all eyes on her. And I was just like, that's the energy, y'all. That's the energy. And it's like, you don't have to say it. If you want, you can say it. But I be seeing these people on like Instagram, and they be posting stuff and be saying shit like soft girl life and I've been through so much and I just want to da. And I'm just like, no, you can just see it when I post it. Like, you can see that I'm living a relaxing life. Like, I don't really want, but then I guess that's for engagement. Like, for me, like, engagement, like, that's why I set my life up the way I set my life up, to be able to have a stable career, to where, like, I can just do art. I like to just drop the art and walk away. If it gets engagement and people look at it, if they like it, that's great. If they don't, like, I still get paid. I live a pretty comfortable life. I'm privileged in some respects to people out there that don't live so much of a comfortable life, and thank you God for that, and God bless them people that don't, and hopefully they get to have a comfortable life and shit like that. But that's why I set my life up the way I did, because I don't want to commodify my art to the point where people are telling me what to do. I don't want to commodify my photography, my videos on YouTube, to the point where people are like, and then they're demanding, and then when you don't do it, then they get and they post in these long ass paragraphs of how you're like, I'm gonna block you. Or I'm just not gonna respond to you. I've learned that if you just ignore these people that go on rants on your fucking posts, they just, like, they don't know what to. After that, they just, like, because they're arguing with themselves, and they start to look crazy. Or people that actually support what I do will come and just, read them for filth, which is, I'm really grateful for those people, because I just don't have energy. I need to live a relaxed life that is as stress-free as possible, because I have cancer that runs in my family, and cancer is agitated by stress a lot of the times. And so ain't nobody out here about to give me cancer stress or stress cancer. I just need to be at peace and calm, and just be having fun and doing great things, and be as least stressed. The most thing that I need to be stressed out with is work. And one day when I have a nigga and some children and shit, like, I'm prepared for those types of stress. But like, random motherfuckers coming at me left and right, I'm just gonna ignore you. Like, I'm still gonna post my shit, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm just gonna ignore you. You're not about to come at me. I'm not about to acknowledge you as a person or a human being. And I don't have it. So that's the energy I want to walk in a room with, that people are just drawn to the peace that I exude. I don't have to say anything or go on these long spiels about how I've been through this, that, or the other in order to get those people to, like, see me as a human and come toward. Like, I'm not doing all that. Either you're gonna like me or you're not gonna like me. I don't care. God has blessed me with the ability to live a comfortable life, and I am not going to mess that up in the name of Jesus. God, thank you, Lord, because it was all Jesus. It was all, like, the whole movie that was Jesus. The whole movie, Jesus was moving in this woman's life, and all she had to do was just move. All she had to do was just move and start something, and God did the rest. Like, I really feel like when you just do your part, like, let's say, like, you want to be a lawyer and you got to go to law school, right? And so your part is applying to the colleges you want to get to, but God's part is the chances of what college you might get into, who's gonna, like, choose you. And who's going to pick you to be in their college, because you can't control that. It's the uncontrollable parts of the things that you want to do, is that's where God moves. And so like I send out all my applications, and then I did all the work. I did the essays. I tried my best, and now all I can do is wait. And the only way that God can shine through you is if you love yourself enough to be your full self when you're doing these things. Because your full self is like, it's like being a kid again. Like they said in the Bible, like the only way into heaven is to be like a little child, to be innocent and free, and not get like, if you watch a little kid, they don't care if somebody's watching them and stuff. They will have a full on temper tantrum in the store and be on the floor and all this other shit. They're not embarrassed. They don't give a fuck. I'm not saying that that's the worst quality, but like even just the way kids be asking random questions, it does not cross their mind that it's going to affect you in the way it affects you. You know, and so they need the extra guidance to fine tune that. But like just being at peace in the world and loving on yourself and being your full self will draw in the things that you can't control. Like it'll draw in the partner, it'll draw in the positive friendships, it'll draw all in the career and all. Just do your part. Just do your part and love yourself and put yourself into everything that you do and do the work to grow yourself. And all you need to do is step into the room and everybody got eyes on you, and they don't know why their eyes on you, but their eyes is on you. And I can feel it. I feel it when I walk in a room, and I feel my own energy, and then I feel the energy of others directing their energy towards me. Now, am I saying everybody's looking at me and I'm just so... No, I'm saying that like you can just feel when your energy sparks off something different in the space that you're entering. And it's because you walk in there and you don't give a fuck. You walk in there like you own it. Like I like to... Everywhere that I go that I find comfort, I like to treat like I'm at home. If I find comfort in a place and I feel safe, I'm gonna treat it like I'm at home. I'm gonna be relaxed. I'm gonna be, and that's my goal in life. Is just everywhere I go, I'm gonna make it feel like I'm at home, because I'm gonna pour so much into myself that I'm not really like, the things that would make it feel like it's not at home are the people that, you know, are outside of you and shit. If I'm not paying attention to those people, I'm only paying attention to myself and my comfort and my, you know, self and things like that. Like, it's always going to feel like I'm at home no matter where I go. And also I focus on God, and I just be like, oh no, and this is going to become really religious, but it's like a religious show. And like, you know, if replace God with whatever deity that you worship, you know, logical shit. And if you don't worship a deity, like replace it with just yourself and the love you pour into yourself. Like it is what it is. But for me, it's God and Jesus and stuff. And so I'm going to talk about what's for me. And you can replace the word with anything that you want to replace it with that brings you peace. Anyways, and so I just feel God is with me, always by my side. I was at this thing. I told you in the last video, this screening for Jason's lyric, and the guy that wrote Jason's lyric was like, I want to live my life like it's a prayer. And I was just like, nigga, I'm already doing that. That's amazing. Like everybody else in there was just like, oh, that's so profound and shit. And it is profound. But like, I realized that when he said that's what I have been doing this whole time. Like I've just been walking around like God's already walking beside me. Like I don't need to worry about what you feel. And if you want to get to know me, just come and talk to me, and don't say no stupid shit or derogatory shit. Like no, because I'm gonna end the conversation. I'm just gonna be like, you know, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm not gonna call you out. Don't hold me though. Don't hold me there. Don't hold me, because I'm crazy. And I realize that we don't, like with healing, we don't like lose our crazy. We just kind of have a leash on it. And I have a very strong leash on it because it's not gonna go away. But if you push me and you push me, the leash is gonna get yanked out of my hand. And the part of me that wants to be destructive and fucked up and break you is going to be released. And I don't know what's going to happen after that. You know, I may end up injured So because I'm not like a fighter or nothing. I just know that, I'm gonna shoot to kill. Like, I'm gonna pick up some shit and try to stab you if you fuck with me. Like, I'm in survival mode at that point if you get physical. But like, or I might say some shit that hurts your feelings, like, or who am I just, oh God, like, I just don't want to be in. See, I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting stressed out just thinking about it. Like, why can't people be chill? Just fucking chill out. What's wrong with you? Why you coming up to me, treating me like the thing you made up in your head? Like, that's not like, just like in the movie when the CEO was just getting madder and madder at her because she was just at peace. You disrupt the manipulative person's peace, or disrupt the manipulative person's life and aura when you bring peace into their vicinity, because they can't understand it, because they've never experienced it. Even the people he was surrounding himself with, the senator was shady and didn't care about his people and had a for sale sign on his forehead like that bitch told him. Like, the girl he was with was insecure and he was taking advantage of her. So he was surrounding himself by people that he felt he could control by controlling their vulnerabilities and shit and their insecurities. And peace comes in, and peace says, I embrace my vulnerabilities. I embrace my insecurities. Like, you're not about to call me out and make me feel no type of way. I don't know what to tell you. Like, and then they don't know what the fuck to do, because they can't hurt your feelings and make you kneel. They can't hurt your feelings and make you kneel. So that's why the whole movie, he was just trying to find some intel on her, or some secret that she's holding, or like she's putting on a facade. She wasn't putting on a facade. The money was hers. She came on a vacation. She was having a good time. She was about to die, so she was being extravagant, and you made up a tale in your head and told yourself that, oh, she must be evil and blah 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 blah, and I'm gonna figure it out. And it's like, I'm gonna find the vulnerability so that she will kneel in front of me. And it's like, bitch, fuck you. So anyway, she eating the food from the chef. The chef come over. He's just, oh my gosh, and da 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 da. And he's a famous chef and everything. And my thing is like, she was just talking to him like he was a regular person. That's how you have to talk to people. Like, they're just, I don't care how much money you fucking have. You're still a human being. The apocalypse comes. We do not have the technology that they have in Fallout. We don't have that technology to cryogenically freeze niggas, because niggas would already be frozen. They would just be disappearing and being like, wake me up in 1,000 years. We don't have that shit yet. So like, you if the apocalypse comes, you just gonna be asked out just like everybody else. Beyonce gonna be having to go out there and get the grain and and hunt and gather and all that, just like everybody else in the fortress. So I'm just gonna treat you like a regular fucking person. I'm gonna like talk to you like a regular person. And I love that how they illustrated that with her, like how she just talked to people like regular, like chill the fuck out. Like, you got money, okay, that's nice. What anime do you like? Like, is there anything else? Like, when I go on a date and I meet a nigga and I know as soon as I know what he does for work, unless he's really passionate about it and like wants to talk about it and all that other stuff and shit like that, I'm not really, okay, this is what you do, okay. So anyways, what else do you like? Like, you already checked the box, you got money. We don't need to keep going on and on and on and on about the money and the people you know and da 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 da. I don't care. Unless you're passionate about what you do. Like, if you're a doctor and you want to sit up here and talk about heart surgery for the entire dinner, I watch Discovery Channel. I'm versed in a lot of subjects, very lightly versed. I'm not a fucking doctor. I don't know nothing about heart surgery like that. But I watched the Discovery Channel when I was a kid. There was a show on the Discovery Channel. I forgot what it was, but like, they went inside the body and would show you like through like the CGI, like what would happen in the body. If you got cancer, or like you broke a bone, or you had the cold. That's how I learned that when you have a cold, the most contagious point of a cold is at the end when you're coughing up all that mucus and shit, because all the dead cold germs are in the mucus that you coughing up at the end and shit. So when you think you're better, you're actually spreading diseases. God. So, I learned a lot. So, nigga want to sit there and talk about heart surgery and shit. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm going to ask questions. questions like, okay, so what's the ventricle situation, and what is that? And so if you, and then I'm gonna Google some shit, and we gonna be talking back and forth because I wanna know some shit now. Now you made me curious and shit. I love when a nigga's passionate about what he does because I like learning shit. And if a nigga's passionate about some shit I don't know about, I want to know more about it. Like, okay, so what is, and then you do, and okay, let me get my notes app out. Wait a minute, and then okay, let me find a nigga that's versed in finances and help me with my Bitcoin and stocks and shit. Like, wait a minute, they just sitting there right now, but like, they said on the YouTube's videos about the bitcoins and shit that you just need to let them sit there and shit and let them grow. Like I said, I wasn't gonna take no money out until that shit hit like at least $1 million. But like sometimes be fluctuating and be going all the way down, and it's like, should I have taken money out? Like, but how you know it's gonna go all the way down and shit? See, let me meet a financially versed nigga. In the name of Jesus. So anyways, the nigga at the table mad because the chef is sitting with her and talking to her like a regular human being. He keeps trying to snap the chef over like he ain't nothing and shit. I'm just like, bitch, see, that's why don't nobody like you. What? Chill the fuck out. And like, he's just getting madder and madder about this bitch. So the next day, she has this valet woman, Gerta, and Gerta has a little funky ass attitude and shit. And like, she's real chill with her though. Like see how she faces the toxicity or the challenging emotion by just staying. If they up here, you stay right here and you see them as a person. At the end, she even said like, that's okay. Working women, like, we get tired after a while, and sometimes we get mad. And so I understand, because Gerda couldn't understand why she was so nice, and she was trying to figure it out, trying to find some loopholes and shit. But the thing is, if we can believe the patterns of negative behaviors make somebody negative, then we need to believe that the patterns of positive behaviors can make somebody a decent person. And if we don't believe that, especially after we've known this person for a good long time and they treat themselves good, they treat other people good, they treat their family good, usually that's the trifecta, nigga. And like, and most manipulative people cannot hold that trifecta. So there's going to be a crack in the wall. So if they can hold that trifecta, most likely they're a pretty decent person. And you got to believe it. You got to believe it until they show you that they're not. Even if you have to fake it, like I do sometimes, because you're just really nice. And girl, I remember like dates I went on with niggas that were really nice. They turned out to be dicks at the end, but this is why I don't really believe in that shit. And I would just be I would be so gullible and believe it off top, and I would just be like, you're so nice, oh my god, thank you, just open the door for me, basic shit, like, oh my gosh, like extra, like, oh my god, you're so, until I had to learn from many situations that niggas can pretend for a long time until there's a crack, and you're just like, oh, okay, never mind. And so like, Gerta is looking for cracks in the wall, and she got a little attitude, but like, Georgia see right through that shit. She's like, girl, I know you tired. It's okay. Can you give me this, and this event, because I wanna do it all, bitch. So she goes snowboarding. She takes in snowboarding lessons, and that's when she run into them to the senator and the CEO and all other stuff again. And she runs into them because like the snowboard just takes her away. That shit has always scared me. That shit has scared. Skiing and snowboarding has scared me ever since Sonny Bono died. I refuse to get on a helicopter ever since Kobe died. Them little Cessna planes and shit, I'm not getting on that ever since Aaliyah died. I don't care. Then I wanted to go to Fiji, and I looked up like rental cars and stuff like that, and they was like, oh no, like most people take like a helicopter off the island where the airport is and shit. And so you would have to take a helicopter to another island, and there's no rental cars on services on them other islands, and and I was just like, why are you making this complicated? Like, I travel by myself, and we get on some fucking Cessna helicopter situation that's gonna crash in the middle of the oh god. And then somebody said there's a ferry, but like, I don't know. At that point, I have to rethink Fiji for later when I have a nigga that will come with me and I won't be by myself. Or like friends that will come. Ugh. I'd rather just be a nigga. Like, no, because ever since that girl got her ass beat in Mexico and died, and then like that one girl that got found in the refrigerator and shit like that, like I just don't know about being in a foreign country with friends. Like, I mean, like, I would really have to trust you. Like a nigga, like I'll have actively taken time to learn every cell on your body, every move you make. I've actively taken a while to learn that shit. With friends, it's like I don't have that much responsibility to learn that much about you. Like I don't care that much. We cool, we hang out and sit, we talk, we drink, we do whatever and shit, but like I'm not gonna care to learn that much about you like I would. I know it's probably bad. I don't care. You don't have to do it. I didn't say it was for you. I said me. And so if you take it personally and be like, oh my gosh, she's not a girl's girl. I didn't say that. I didn't say that whatsoever. All these videos I've been making about these niggas doing all that shit. This is a cleansing of the palate video. It's so you're not gonna. I've been thinking about that shit ever since I posted that video, and I just feel like this movie helped to cleanse my. So we're gonna let that go. But no, I don't know, because you making that nigga family, like you have a baby with that nigga, like it just feels different to me personally, my individual self. It may be the patriarchy, I don't fucking know, but it doesn't feel wrong. So when shit doesn't feel wrong and it doesn't hurt me or anyone else, I'm just gonna ride with it, because the other thing feels kind of shaky. And so whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, so like I'm not getting on any of them things right now. I don't and so I would never snowboard. I'll go sit in the lodge, or go outside and play in the snow. I'm more of a relaxing. Like she went on this trip and she wanted to do things that made her feel close to death, so she can feel alive and shit, exhilarating, adrenaline rush and shit like that, because she was dying. Like literally, like that's not some shit. I want to visit every spa and spring watered area in the world. I want to go to that natural spring in Iceland that's like blue and shit and got the ice around it. I want to go to the natural spring in Tuscany that's going down the side of the hill with the various different pools and shit like I want to do shit like that. I want to relax to the max. She out here snowboarding and base jumping and shit, nigga, and then she skydived for her wedding. That's just not who I am as a person, but I'm glad that that's where she found herself. Everybody needs to find their self in their own thing, and those things are not for me. But so she went snowboarding for the first time and almost broke her neck like Sonny Bono on that tree, because she couldn't control the board. It was just so down the mountain and shit, nigga. That was some bullshit. And then she ran into the CEO nigga and his cronies. And he got jealous, I guess, and followed her down the hill and had his niggas looking at him like, what is you doing? Like, how's just these weak-minded, manipulative people? It's just exhausting to deal with these people. Like, see how just, you're always activated. You're always looking out for stuff. You can't just, I wonder how his sleep is. He probably doesn't even sleep good. I don't know. Who knows? So he's trying to like beat her or catch up to her or whatever, and she's like out of control, so she grabs onto him and all this other shit. So she lets go and she's able to get through the trees and land perfectly, and it's a movie, y'all. She probably would have smashed her shit up just like Sonny Bono. God bless him. I don't know if he was good to share, because there was some shit online that said that it was iffy, but still it was a life taken, and God bless him. But like he smashed into that tree, and I never wanted to get on no items, even a sled is iffy. Like, I was like a little kid when that happened. That shit fucked me up. That shit, no, I don't like when the bikes go down the hill, because I saw this one episode of Rocket Power and it scared the shit. When they had this big ass hill and the bike was I was just like, so if you crash, then you're dead. Like if you crash, because you're going so fast, if you crash, you're going to be dead or paralyzed. And that's too much of a risk for me. I'm not because I can learn something to where I'm almost a damn near pro at it if I get fixated on it. But shit like that, I can learn it to the max. I used to rollerblade and skate and roller skate, and I even did a ripstick once when I was in college. I learned how to do that shit. But like, as soon as I think about crashing, I'm gonna crash. That's just how, I don't care how much of a pro I am at it, I'm gonna crash. And so, it's just not. It's not. But she survived, and she told that nigga off because he was like, you could end up in court for 2 years, just, snowboarding like that. And she's like, I don't give a fuck, because she thought she was gonna die and shit. So, anyways, she goes and like, I think she goes to dinner again that night, and like, oh no, she goes to the spa. She goes to the spa at some point, and that's where she talks to the senator. I like this because it's illustrating what I've been saying. Just because a nigga has money doesn't mean he has good character, and the senator didn't have good character. Like, he didn't show up for his fucking people. That means that if they were to get in relations, he's not going to show up for her in some way. He's enthralled by her magic pixie dream girlness of not giving a fuck about what other people think. That's neither mysterious or interesting to the point where you think that you can objectify it and turn it into like she's a mythical creature. She's a fucking person, and she's going through some shit that has taught her to not give a fuck about all this petty little stupid shit that everybody else is thinking about. It's not that serious. It really isn't. You could do it too, with therapy. She had trauma turned her into that. But like, with therapy, you could learn how to not give a shit too, and just be out in the world and live life and do amazing things just because you want to, and then draw in people that are just so like awed by your amazement. Like, I'm drawn in to people like that. Like, when I know that people are doing stuff because like they don't give a shit, and the stuff that they're doing is like amazing. I'm just like, wow, this is so amazing and magical. How did you do this? Like, that's what interests me into sparking conversations with motherfuckers. Oh God, I'm sounding like a fucking dick. What? Like, if I see something that's like so amazing and so magical that someone's doing, I'm just gonna stop in my tracks and be like, wow, that is so interesting. That's why I hate beautiful niggas, because that's the same effect. It's the same effect. I'll just stop and stare. Like, I've learned to not do that to the extent that I used to, but I'll just like, oh God, he's so pretty. It's like a painting, an art piece. Like, look at all the chisel. It's like God did him special, and woo, so good, so good. Like, he's in the pool with her, and all I can think is like, you don't have good character. She can clock this shit, so it doesn't matter if you have money or anything like that. Like, you don't have good character, so like, I can clock when you're not a good person. Or there's something about you that's probably going to cause me issues later on. And so it doesn't mean that you're all around not a good person, but there's a quality about you that makes you, like, if you get triggered in that space, you don't throw me under the bus and shit. And I don't feel like, no, like, you going to throw away our relationship. You going to do some fuck shit. You going to distance yourself emotionally. Like, you going to cheat. Something's going to happen. Right now, you're just enthralled by my, inability to not give a fuck. My ability to not give a fuck. Like, it's not that serious. You can do it too. Go to therapy. And so I like how it was, because at first I was like, I forgot that he didn't show up at the church. And so when I first saw him, I was like, oh, look, that nigga got money, girl. Maybe we got two options and shit. And then like, she reminded us that he didn't show up at the church. I was like, oh no. Mm-mm. I don't care what your status in life is. See, that's why she like LL Cool J. LL Cool J can lift her up. That nigga couldn't lift her. I don't care. Albeit that he looked a bit tuckered out. He was carrying her, and he like leaned on. I feel like that was real, bitch. I feel like it was real. She's a tall woman. She built like the women in my family. Like, we're tall, and we got that like kind of muscular, stocky build and shit like that, like athletic build. She got that shit going on. So like, she probably got muscles and shit. And so like, I felt it, but like, I feel like if the nigga was well versed in the athleticism enough and the strength, he could carry me like a princess. I feel it in my spirit in the name of Jesus. And so, like, she tells him, she's just like, "No, I'm good, nigga." Like, you, and he was speechless because he had even forgot about the church thing. He was trying to remember where he knew her from. Like, "Oh, I know you from here," and she said from church, and he was like, "What?" Like, it was like he forgot about the shit. Like, I'm tired. Like, you really got the for sale sign. Like, no one needs that. So she gets up and gets out, and runs into the CEO and his mistress in the elevator, about to fucking elevator. And so, like, she lets him know that she know him too. And so now he's all, "Oh, she knows me. Like, that's just nefarious, and she knows me." Bitch, you weak ass. Okay. Okay. Wouldn't you want to know why someone said that they knew you and shit? Like, da 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 da. Not really. I don't. I like to throw the art out there and leave and live my life. Like, someone come up on the street and was like, "I saw you in your videos." I mean, I would play face and be like, "Oh, thank you. That's so amazing." But like, inside, I'd just be like, "See, now I seem like an asshole." I could probably work on these things. I guess I don't know. I just being bothered is hard. Because you got to take in people's energies and their assumptions about you and how they treat you based off of their assumptions about you. And I have yet to meet somebody that has not off top treated me off top with their assumptions, based off of what their assumptions they made up in their head. You can tell because I'm not doing anything, and your tone has a slight attitude to it, like slight, like, and you're just like, are you like acting a certain way during the conversation, or I'm not gonna, because then people think I'm gonna call them out. That's not what I'm. But you can tell, and then if I'm hanging out, like, I'm going to the space long enough, I guess eventually, like, people will show either that they're always like that, or they'll show that because I keep showing up as myself and I'm not deviating from being myself, they chill the fuck out. And it's cool. It's like, whatever. But like, the people that I feel like chill the fuck out eventually, I give my time to. But the people that never chill the fuck out are off top. It depends on who you are, and what you do off top that feels aggressive. You ain't gonna know that I can tell, but like, I can tell. Like, why are you like, what the fuck you make up in your head about me? I'm not even doing nothing. I'm just sitting here reading a fucking book, nigga. Like, I'm sitting here like eating a snack. Like, what exactly did I don't? So maybe partially something to work on. Maybe partially, like, I'm valid in how I feel, so it's okay to be cautious. And so then it came with me. I'll play face, and like, how long do we have to have the conversation for? Like, do I just say thank you and then I can walk away, or like, what? What are the niceties of niggas watching your shit and then seeing you on the street and wanting to come and talk to you? Like, I'll be like, "Oh, thank you," and then walk off. I'll be like, "Oh, thank you," walking by like this, and like, are you supposed to stop and like talk? Like, continue, whatever, like, because I'm probably not gonna. People just want your time, and like, if I'm not in a place where I feel like giving up my time, like, I'm thinking about, like, I'm heading somewhere, like I'm on a good part of the book I'm reading. I'm thinking about like snacks that I want to eat, and it's just around the corner, and you stop me. Or I'm in the middle of doing photography and you stop. So draining, because I just want to focus on this thing, and you want to pull me over here and have this 10-minute long conversation when I was right around the corner from the place that I was going to get the snacks from, and I can literally taste it on my tongue, and that's all I can think about while you're talking. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So, I'm just me. I feel like if I explain it though, like it makes sense. So, there you go. That's what you get. But anyway, so she gets out the pool. She sees these niggas kissing and stuff. She says her little thing, and he just can't let it go. And then she go about her life. And so she's at dinner the next night. This is gonna be a long ass video. I don't care. She's at dinner the next night, and like they invite her to sit with them. But the chef already has a separate table set aside for her. I feel like this is a sermon, y'all. They took some preaching and they made it into a scene. I said God had already placed a setting for her. And then them niggas went and became her footstools at her table. And when you just doing what you just doing and you living your life and you don't care and you just focus on you and God and shit like that, nigga, and having fun and, helping people when they need help and shit, because everybody needs to be here. Then it's like shit just be happening because you're doing the work you need to do on yourself and just being your full self, and you just being chill and showing up for yourself and shit like that. And then the part that you can't control just happens. Just happens. God has set a table aside for her. Yes, Lord. Praise him. That was some miracle. Oh, this is miracles, y'all. They showing you how miracles happen. Like, you really got to just focus on you and love yourself and help people and shit like that, and love people and shit like that, and like show up for the people that you care about. Like, I'm not saying isolate yourself and only focus on you, y'all. And like God will just he'll manage the uncontrollable shit for the most part. Tis what it is. Now, like I said, shit be happening in people's lives that it seems like the bad part is happening for a long ass fucking time. I don't know what to say. I don't want to be like, well, you got to look at yourself and see what part you're doing. And I don't want to be like, well, you just wait and God will da-da-da. Like, niggas be out here homeless dying on the fucking street. So I feel like you take what applies and you leave what doesn't, like this, because I don't know. But I know that from what I've seen in my life and in other people's life that believe in something other than themselves and truly believe in shit, that should be happening, and should be happening for them, and should be happening for me. That should not be happening. So this movie perfectly illustrates how shit can just be happening that you didn't expect to happen, and it could change your fucking life, bitch. And so they all sat at her table, even the CEO. He was just mad about it too, piece of shit ass. And then they asked her where she going the next day, and she going base jumping. And the CEO wanted to take them to some glass factory, paper, plastic, some stupid shit, because he's trying to do mergers or some shit with these niggas. I don't know. So she goes base jumping, and it looks horrible. It's scary looking at us, but she likes it. The stunt person, I'm assuming there was a stunt person that did it, probably liked it, loved it. It was magical off the damn. But this nigga, of course, needs to be in competition with her. No one else is going base jumping, mind you, just her. And so this nigga feels like he has to be in competition with her and goes base jumping to some bullshit. And so she jumps off and she has a marvelous time, lands in the snow, pretty as a picture, magical. This nigga pees himself and then blames the suit and says that something malfunctioned, and then jumps back over the railing and refused to jump. Because they're cowards. These people that feel like they have to aggressively force people to be molded into who they want them to be in order to feel like in control of them, and in that way feel safe in the world and all that other stupid shit. They're cowards. They're scary. They can't, that shit is not controllable to them. So like I was saying, like how I'm scared of nature, because you have to like, you can't appeal to nature's empathy. You have to learn how to work with nature, and there's some nature that I'm willing to work with, like my cat, or like the plants and shit when I go hiking, but not snakes. Like no, but the plants and shit when I go hiking. But like, there's some nature I just don't feel like fuck, like horses in the ocean and shit. So like, that's a quality of fear that like them type of manipulative narcissistic people have to the max. If they can't control it, they're scared. It scares the fucking shit out of them, and they don't know how to react. And this nigga froze up and climbed over that fence and pissed off and so like, and come to find out, all the servants at the hotel, they love this bitch. She's just the air that they breathe, and because she's treating them like human beings, she treat the servant and look. This is she treat the servant and the rich niggas the same, just like they said in the they making sermons in the scenes. I'm tired. And she's supposed to be Jesus. Wait a minute, I'm reaching too deep into this movie. It is Christmas. She was born again. She went from dying to coming back to life, bitch. She Jesus, y'all. This is Jesus. She's supposed. Oh shit. There's the three wise men. Like, oh my god, the CEO, that random white dude, and the senator. Shut up, bitch. Woo. See, y'all, we be going deep. We go deep and we don't get no sleep because we be up all night till the morning light. Okay. So anyways. So she goes base jumping. The servants love her. Like, so this nigga needs to find out some shit so that he can expose her because he's crazy. And so he pays Gunther to go into her room and search through her shit and find out who she is. So like, they go gambling, and look at girl, when they went gambling and she won her money back, because I'm gonna say 50,000 was what she came with. She won her money back 2 times over, and this is Jesus. He gave her fucking money back and then some, y'all. I'm tired. She won $100,000 when she kept putting it on at 17 and putting it on. I was just like, this bitch is magic. She's Jesus, y'all. And then she won that money. At first they said it was like 3.5 million crowns, and I was just like, she just won 3 million. And then she looks at this nigga's mistress, and she was like, I wonder how much that is, Miss much and such and whatever. And she was just like, oh, that's $100,000. I was like, oh. No, because I wanted it to be 3 million, and I know if we gonna win it, let's win it all, bitch. Like, I don't care. I'll get greedy if you set me up to get something anyways. Like, fuck that shit. Let's get it all, nigga. Like, you was gonna give it to me anyway, so let's get it all. Shit, I want it all, bitch. You already giving it to me. It's horrible. Forgive me. Look, see, it's horrible. So she wanted all this money. This nigga stubbornly keeps putting it on his number, and everybody else is following her and shit. They all following what she doing, and she just looking around like, oh, okay, I guess, whatever, y'all. Shit. And she wanted money for everybody except him because he's just being stubborn and fighting against the goodness. He's fighting. You see how hard these manipulative, toxic people fight against the goodness and just will not allow goodness into their heart because they're pieces of shit and they don't like themselves and they want everybody to be punished for them not liking themselves. And it's just exhausting. I'm tired. And so she wins all this money, Smokey Robinson sings and shit like that. And then meanwhile, over in Louisiana and shit, in New Orleans is so fun. I want to go back. Like, I would live there, but it like floods and I'm scared. But I want to go back multiple times a year and just be. It's so you can feel the energy of magic in the air. I don't care what you're talking about. You can. So back in New Orleans. So LL Cool J is trying to figure out where she's at because she quit her job and he's scared and blah, 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 blah. So he goes to her house, finds out she's not there, but the neighbor boy that she be cooking for is there. And so he asked him where he is, and this little boy gives him the book of possibilities, and he see his face cut out in her book a la Helga style. And but see, when the obsession and fixation is returned in a positive way, I feel like, that's not toxic. hmm When it's returned in a healthy, positive way, it's not. Shut up. Do what's best for you. Take things with a grain of salt and stuff. So, anyways, he gives her the book and points to the hotel that she's at. This nigga gets on a plane. He's got a plane. He's sweating all on his head and shit like that. And then he gets to the air. Then he gets to the check and kisses the ground. I was like, ew, why are you putting your mouth on the floor? And then he like gets a taxi and goes up the mountain. And she had decided because so Olga Gretel, whatever her name is, she went in the room, looked around, and she had written like this letter of like death and like destruction and shit. And Gerta, there it is, Gerta. She read the letter and she was like, "Oh no, I'm being horrible to a bitch that's about to die. Like it shouldn't take you knowing that for you to treat her like a decent human being." Was some of that racism? Was it? I don't know. Could be. And so she reads it. She feels bad, and she gives the CEO back his little tip he gave her, and was like, "Fuck you." But then she let slip that she works for him, and so he's going up the mountain. Like Goethe talks to she talks to Georgia and is like being nice to her and telling her she's sorry that she's gonna die and all this other stupid shit. And I'm just like, you should have been treating her. You know what? Uh, you see, like these negative qualities that could come up later on in the friendship that you probably wouldn't be a close friend because it was so easy for you to treat me fucked up. Like you'd really have to show me some stuff to let me, not just this one instance where you decided to treat me like a human being because I'm dying, because that's pretty extreme. Like I have to be dying for you to treat me like a human. Okay. Weird. So anyways, anyways, she decides that she's gonna leave because she doesn't want to die there. She wants to die at home with Sean and shit. That's LL Cool J character name. And so while she's going down the mountain to leave, Sean is coming up the mountain in a taxi, but they can't leave because of an avalanche because Jesus he sent the avalanche so that they can leave. And then so she turns around and goes to stay at the hotel for another night, and then she helps cook the meal for the event that they having at the hotel or whatever. And this nigga gonna sit up here and like call her the fuck out. He's like, "Oh, well, I want to toast to an extravagant woman and and she's a fucking retail at my store and she makes $29,000 a year and you kept telling us about ourselves and we listened because we thought you were somebody." And I was just like, nigga, she is somebody. What is you talking about? Fuck you, bitch. She's not somebody because she's not fucking a millionaire. What is wrong? So he tried to make her feel bad, but she just sitting there smirking because she's like, I'm about to die, nigga. Like it shouldn't take that, but like she figures it out in the end. But she don't care. And so she stands up at the table and she tells them that she's about to die. And everybody's like, "Oh no," and and then she walks away and they all look at this nigga like, "You motherfucker." You motherfucker, you. And I was just like, you motherfucker, you. And they all leave that evil, even the mistress, leave that evil nigga sitting at the table to crying his champagne by his motherfucking self, like every evil motherfucker should be left by themselves. You can congregate together and hurt each other. Stay the fuck away from regular human beings. Like, stay the fuck away from regular human beings because no, nigga, like. And then like she walks off, right, and she goes back to her room and she's getting ready to leave the next day, and she's getting ready for the next day so she can leave because she's hoping they gonna clean the avalanche up by the next day. And then they come to her room and tell her that, oh, this nigga's on a ledge. So this white nigga went up to this. It's like when niggas, like, when you break up with a toxic nigga and he's like, I'm gonna kill myself, like, as a last resort to keep you locked down. Like, call the police. Like, girl, I would not have. She went up there and magical Negroed and shit, and I just. Now, she magical Negro twice in this movie. Like, the first time was when the mistress was cussing out the masseuse, and she went over there and told her what's what. And then, like, the mistress felt like, oh, she's big mama. It went over there and started going on about, like, the women at the office don't talk to me. Can you really tell that, like, I'm fucking him? And he said he was gonna leave his wife, and this woman is just like, the first time it happened, I was like, okay, well, at least she's showing she's uncomfortable, because she was just like, okay, girl, that's enough, like, chill out and let's get these massages, and like it'll be fine. But the second time, she went out on that motherfucking leg. And I guess it's to who she is as a person or whatever. But I don't care. I would left that nigga out there. That was precious time she could have been spending with Sean in their hotel room. But she went out there and she, was talking him off that ledge. So meanwhile, Sean had decided to cross a fucking avalanche tundra. Because at first I was like, oh God, like... he ain't got no money. Like, she about to have hella money, and is she gonna be the breadwinner? But then he crossed the tundra, and I was just like, and then the senator turned out to be a fucking asshole, and I was like, you know what? We can work with this. We can work. Look at the determination, the motivation to get to you. This could be applied to other things. Let's see if he's willing to apply this strength to other things. Let's give it a try. Because there's a lot. I was just like, he could just sit down and fall asleep and die in that snow. So, I just gave it and it's LL Cool J. And would you want me to girl? So anyway, this is Fantasy World, girl. They own that restaurant together now, and they still cooking. So anyways, like, she talking this nigga off this ledge. It don't matter what she was talking about. This nigga still trifling, went home, his wife divorced him, and SEC took all his money, and his wife took the rest of the money, and like, he's still fucking up. But like... But like, she talked him off that fucking ledge. But no, here come this nigga Sean, frostbitten and shit. And I'm just like, look at him, he made it. It's so magical. And then he comes up the escalator, the elevator situation, and like, he's like, I love you, I want to be with you. Like, he didn't say I love you, but like, he crossed the tundra, he loves her. He's like, I have feelings for you, I want to be with you. No, you love the bitch. You risked freezing to death to be with this bitch. You love the fucking ground she walks on, honey. You do. Like, who does that? Who? So let's see we can apply this to other shit. Let's see. He just ain't had the opportunity yet, and so, like, let's give him the opportunity and shit. So, like, then here come Gerda. So, come to find out, the machine was broken and was giving everybody them lumps in their fucking brain. And so he faxed it to the hotel. And then here come Gerda talking about, you don't have lymph and snap skin and... Lamping, you don't have it. And she was like, oh God, she was talking to God this whole time and shit, like, you got me, you did that. And I was like, look at all this great shit that's happening for this. See, that's why I'm supposed to be patient, and I'm just gonna keep pouring into myself and Jesus, and the good things are just gonna come my way. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, paying my bills, saving money, working, traveling, having fun, doing art, being magical, going to the spa, all the magical things. And like, it's just gonna happen. I don't care what you're talking about. Just like it did for Gloria. It's gonna happen, nigga. In the name of Jesus, nigga. I don't know what to tell you, honey. Like, I need to get off of here. But yeah, so that was my review of Last Holiday. I went on like a few tangents, but you know, whatever. It is what it is in the name of Jesus. Let me know what you think. I appreciate your patronage. And I hope to continue this journey with you. And I hope, this touches some people and they learn some things, and it's funny, and yes. So, later days.